You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Albert and Chris in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, TV shows, games, books, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla, and this is episode 675. This is our D3 2026 recap. And with me is one of the attendees of D3, Chris Cavazos. Chris, welcome back to the show, sir. Welcome back to the world, the real world here. How are you doing?
I don't want to be back in the real world. I want to go back.
Yeah.
I know. I saw you. Exhausting days, no meals, barely any water, and just walking everywhere.
But living your best life, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. Can't complain there. So thank you guys for being here. We've got a lot to talk about. I mean, there were a lot of things that were announced. I would say this too, like it felt like it was one of the more, substantial material D23s. A lot of times it's kind of hit or miss, but felt like there was a lot to say. And maybe it's because there's so much more to say coming for Celebration next year, but let's put a pin in that. We'll get to all that here in just in a second. But before we get started with our main show, how about some shout outs to some of our very special Patreon members?
Absolutely. We're going to give a shout out to all our Patreon members that are here. It's going to take me time to get back into this. All right.
It's been a while.
Are now part of the tribe members. We have Krista Martinelli, Will I Am, Michael Paisley, I Got a Brad Feeling, Rita Reborn, Jacob H, Josh C, Uncle Leon, Sharkman Dan, Alejandro, Jackson Abbott, Daz Davies, Risk Bayless, Danny P, Mike Borda, Dante, a.k.a. Utini, and Kat, a.k.a. Vader's Girl. Our Delusion of Grandeur members on Patreon is my guy. Now this is Rod Racing, Rob G, Steve C, and my girl Vanessa. Thank you so much for your support of the Cantina Cast on Patreon. Also, we want to give a shout out to our YouTube channel members, Paisley, my Star Wars guys, Nicolo, and Ali Padali.
Good. Yep. I think that's how you pronounce that. Ali Padali. Yeah. Thank you for all of our Patreon members. Thank you guys to our YouTube channel membership folks. If you guys are interested in either one of those, for Patreon, you can scan the URL code up there or just visit CantinaCast or /Patreon. Or if you want to do the YouTube memberships, there's a way to do that down below if you're watching on YouTube. Any and all support is welcomed and appreciated. It all goes right back into the show for us to continue bringing you guys content, keeping the website up, getting, spending all the money that we used to do editing and all that nonsense. So thank you guys again so much for that. Let's see, quick program note. We've got a lot to discuss. We have, not only do we have a number of trailers that we want to do. So this show is really going to be just about just the high level. Here's what D23 experience was like. We'll talk about all the key talking points. But at some point, we definitely want to do a full dedicated show to things like the Ahsoka trailer for season 2. That was phenomenal. We definitely want to do a Starfighter trailer breakdown. That one is probably going to be the next Patreon show. So we're shooting for this Sunday, this weekend. Chris and I will be back here to talk about that. And we will break that down with footage of that. So probably the worst kept secret in the world as far as D23. It was everywhere. And some of you have already seen it. But I think there's enough in there for us to discuss, and I just really want to get into some of the things that were said in that trailer. So that'll be the next Patreon show, and then after that, we'll get into, again, the Ahsoka trailer. We've still got some comic book stuff that we got to get caught up on. We've got the Ninth Jedi that we definitely want to get caught up on. Yeah. So it's been kind of a little mini whirlwind of content here, and thankfully, it feels like we kind of are going to have a little bit of lull before we get into the holiday season, because right after that, it's going to be all about Star Wars Celebration and celebrating the 50th anniversary of A New Hope, or Star Wars, depending on how old you are. So all that's coming up. So stay tuned. We'll keep you guys posted on Patreon, our social media pages, as well as things develop there. All right. Why don't we do this? Let's get into our main topic. And I kind of want to pick up where I left off, in that, D23, it's always been kind of hit or miss, I think, for me personally. Like sometimes we get announcements, sometimes we get some really big things, sometimes we get vaporware where things are announced and never happen. But this one felt like they were kind of playing it safe, but yet there were some pretty exciting things, right? We knew going in that we were going to get the Ahsoka 2 trailer. That kind of was not a surprise by Tuesday of last week. The Starfighter trailer, I think I started seeing rumblings of that by about the same thing, Tuesday or Wednesday. There was rumors that was going to hit. But both of those are substantial in themselves. But then we also had the Star Wars Experience that was out there. There was rumors that we were going to get some Star Wars Eclipse, which I was like, what in the world? I thought that thing was dead and buried. But, and then we had like the Mandalorian things, the Lego Mandalorian series or show that's coming out. But it just felt like overall, given the amount of content they released, seeing a lot of things that were on the floor, they had new toys, they had the kind of the sync up that was happening with the new bride. It just felt a little bit more substantial for me, I think, personally, than past D23s. But as someone who was there and as someone who's experienced these in the past, how was that like for you? Like, did it feel that way for you? Did this feel more or less what it's always been? And I don't know, what were your general experiences now having attended this year?
So I've only been to one other D23, and that was back in 2019. And back then it was all about the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Now, the big thing that came out of that presentation was what I call the Dark Ray teaser, where we got to see Dark Ray for the first time. And they went ahead and they showed a montage from the entire Skywalker saga. And then it culminated at the end with Dark Ray. But you talked about vaporware. That was all about that. There's still projects that were announced way back in 2019 that are either still in development or just went ahead and they just got axed, like
right.
Rangers of the New Republic. That was one that was announced then, and it got axed. So yes, we can say Lucasfilm did play it safe. However, what they did bring to the table really packed a punch. So obviously, they talked about, they had Dave Filoni out there talking about the 50th anniversary and how, the original 1977 version of Star Wars is going to come back into theaters. That's really all he said. We know there's more information around that. We know there's going to be an IMAX screening available if you want to see it in IMAX. So that was really it, mentioning that 2027 is going to be a big year for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then they went into Ahsoka. And obviously that trailer was amazing. It blew up. The Honda Center went crazy. It was an awesome experience for me. Even though I was way up in the nosebleeds, it was still an amazing experience. And then bringing Ryan Gosling out and Sean Levy to talk about Starfighter, it was that pop was real palpable, for the applause of them coming out. And then they showed the footage, which I don't want to say it got a lukewarm reception, because it did get a pop, but it wasn't as intense as it was for the Ahsoka trailer, in my opinion. But there was still a loud pop, I guess, because really you didn't. It was like I said, I wouldn't even call it a teaser. It was more like a sizzle reel. You know what I mean?
We'll get into that. It's literally 1 minute of a particular scene for the most part, and then some additional footage right afterwards. So yeah, I get it. Like, it wasn't really polished or meant to kind of like punch you in the face. It was really just like, hey, look, this is really happening. Here's what it looks like. And oh, by the way, did you see Ryan Gosling over here? And don't forget, Ryan Gosling's here as well. So like, I get what they were trying to do, but you're right. It's probably not fair to call it a teaser. The online media sources are all calling it a teaser. So I guess we were teased in that sense, but is it really a teaser with a capital T? I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I agree.
No. I like I said, I wouldn't consider it a teaser. I would consider it a sizzle reel. Yeah. It was just not long enough. Even at 1 minute, it wasn't long enough.
Fair.
But it did get a pop, but it wasn't as loud as it was for the Ahsoka trailer, which I would definitely call that a trailer. However, for me, even though all of that was amazing, even though I was amazed at all of that, they still left some stuff on the table. Talking about what are we going to get after Starfighter. Now, that was my biggest, I don't want to say complaint or gripe. That was just my biggest notice of omission. I guess
you texted me and like, there's nothing after Start. They didn't show anything about the future.
Right, exactly.
Which, I don't want to steal your thunder. I think we kind of came to the same conclusion about what they're planning there, of course.
Right, but Filoni maybe could be taking this a little bit more cautiously, because Kathleen Kennedy was all about, hey, we have this in pre-production and here's what it's going to look like. Here's a logo. Here's some maybe drawings, conception art or concept art. but maybe Filoni is playing it a little bit conservative, being that this is his first D23 as being the co-president of Lucasfilm.
Right.
So I chalk it up to that. But like we talked about, I think we'll get that information at Celebration. But I was really, really hoping that we would get that because, rumors were that Daisy Ridley was in Los Angeles. We know from Rebel Scum Con, John Boyega was headed back to Los Angeles.
Yep.
We knew Simon Kinberg was at Skywalker Ranch. Skywalker Sound. So I was like, okay, this is the perfect storm. Could we be getting something?
Too coincidental. We got too many other players in the same area here.
And it just didn't materialize.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, the Ahsoka trailer was pretty nice. I really enjoyed it. The sizzle reel from Starfighter, it piqued my interest. I enjoyed it. It seems like a different kind of Star Wars movie just based off that 1 minute of random scenes. But now I'm curious. I want to know, okay, what's up with this Starfighter and what's up with the kid and, what planets are they on and stuff like that. So I think it kind of piqued everyone's interest. So if that's what they were looking to do, it did that.
Yeah, I would agree. And the other thing too about something like that, like the fact that we are celebrating, like everybody's focused, and rightfully so. I think we're really focused on the fact that we are celebrating 50 years of the original blockbuster movie franchise, right? Let's make no mistake about it. I guess Star Trek was out there. Battle of Planets was, or not Battle of the Apes, whatever it is. All of those were out there, but Planet of the Apes, thank you. But Star Wars really was kind of the official first big IP kind of blockbuster event. And so I like the idea of saying we're going into Celebration. It's 2027. We're going to celebrate 50 years of this movie. And then we're going to end cap that with what the future is going to look like, right? That juxtaposition between the two, I think is really cool. Hopefully they do that, right? If we don't get into Celebration, if we get into Celebration and they don't explain or show us what the future looks like, I'm going to have a lot of red flags, right?
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to be the case, but I think there's probably rightful cause to be a little bit concerned about, hey, what's really going on there?
Exactly.
And Dave's got a pass, right? He's coming in, anytime there's a change of ownership, you always kind of give the new C-level person coming in a bit of grace to kind of get their footing, kind of starts, influencing and changing things they want to, right? Maybe they're road mapping, and I'm sure he's got to work with the Disney executives and all that. So there's a lot of work to be done there. Don't get me wrong. But I think by the time we get to Celebration, I would like to have seen them at least hash out of what that future roadmap is going to look like. Marvel does it all the time. Sure, they don't stick to everything, but there's no reason why Star Wars can't do the same. And I'm not advocating for a movie every year, right? That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying have a plan, stick to the plan, right? I think that's what we're all kind of hoping and expecting we're going to get from Celebration 2020. 27.
Yeah, I have no doubt we'll get all that information then. Absolutely right. If I hate to say this, but if we don't get anything in regards to that at Celebration 20, Los Angeles next year in 2027, it might be time to burn it down and start over. I mean, it's
okay, Kylo, calm down. All right.
Yeah, no, I know. We still have our books. That would sound the alarms. That would absolutely sound the alarms. Now, then there's a lot of questions about, okay, is it Filoni? Is it Brennan? Is it, Josh D'Amaro out of Disney who's blocking stuff, or is being more picky about the projects that are, they're piping through Lucasfilm. But I do believe now that we got zilch at D23, I do think that we'll get an announcement of what we can expect beyond Starfighter at Celebration. So just a couple more months, be a little bit patient. That, patience is a virtue.
Of course.
So I'm hoping we'll get that then. But yeah, we got the Ahsoka trailer. We didn't mention, we also got the logo for Starfighter, which I was very impressed with because they went with, I thought they were going to have the classic Star Wars with, the name in the middle, like, they did with the sequels. But no, they went with the old school classic 70s Star Wars logo. And I really love that. So the logo is great. They were actually giving away buttons with that logo on, and I was able to snag one. So I'm happy I got that. So yeah, it was that's pretty cool, and I really dig that. So I'm really excited for Starfighter. I think it's going to be a different Star Wars movie, but I think it's going to satisfy the itch we've had for some, new and big time Star Wars on the big screen.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get into every one of those now, just a little bit more detail. Before we do, I just want to mention that if you have questions, feel free to throw those in the chat. We'll answer those as time permits, as we can get to them. One Up versus CPU had a question earlier. It says, were there any mentions of Dawn of the Jedi? No. And that's exactly what Chris and I were talking about. Really, when you think about all the future projects, the Rey movie and all the other stuff, no mention whatsoever.
But I do know this. This was mentioned actually a couple months ago that Dawn, I think that's the James Mangold project.
Which I think is...
yes. It was put on hold indefinitely, which probably means it's the kiss of death.
Yeah, it's like flatlining right now.
Exactly. So I doubt we will. It's going in the same shelf where The Hunt for Ben Solo is living right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't think we're going to get that movie, unfortunately. I would have loved to have seen it when they announced it way back when. I think it was Celebration London in 2023. I was excited for that, but no, I think we're not going to see that project. Yeah. I think the next thing we see out of Star Wars, if the rumors and the word out on the street holds true, is Simon Kinberg's trilogy, and that is going to focus on Rey. And whether they're episodes 10, 11, and 12 have yet to be determined, but I think that's going to be the next project out of Lucasfilm for Star Wars. So we'll see.
I'd agree. And I think that would be my top of the list of things to suspect that we would see mention of or shown when we get to Celebration next year. Mm-hmm. Just a couple other questions here. He asked, the Starfighter teaser was just a logo. It was a logo, but it was also a small 1 minute and 7-second clips of footage that we'll get into. Again, if you're a Patreon member, if you're at the audio tier, you'll get to hear the audio breakdown of that. If you're at the video tier, you'll get to watch Chris and I go through that frame by frame and make that a 2-hour show. So look for that. What else is in there? Yeah, so that's okay. So that's the questions. Again, feel free to throw those out. And also, by the way, Chris will give you guys a shout out if you guys do say hello in the chat or throw up a question. Absolutely. Like for the feedback there.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get into, I'm going to share my screen here and let's start talking about some of this stuff in a little bit more detail. I mean, out of the gate, holy bananas, as fire can go when it comes to this logo right here. Oh, and he's pointing at it. Look at that. He's flexing. He's got the poster framed in the back.
I already put it up. The poster is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The way that this artist drew Ahsoka with Thrawn looming in the background, and then all of the sub characters. I don't want to say sub characters, but the other characters are outlined in red at the bottom from both sides. Yeah, it is.
Oh, there it is.
It is amazing. We were kind of frustrated because normally what they do at these things is they'll hand out these giveaways right after, the announcement, or, when they show the footage, a teaser, or whatever, they would give it away right away. But they didn't do that this time. So we were like, hey, I guess we're not getting this poster. And we knew that it existed because about maybe an hour before it's called the Disney Entertainment Showcase. That's where all the Disney properties come out and talk about their upcoming projects. So, there's stuff about Marvel, Pixar,
right.
Disney animation, all that stuff.
Yeah.
There was a leak of this poster, but it was just the bottom half, and it was the January 20th release date. That got leaked out. Then right after the panel, there's a photo of Rosario, or a photo of all of the cast that was there for Ahsoka signing a poster, and then Rosario Dawson actually holding one up. So we knew they existed, but we just didn't get one after we left the Honda Center. They actually handed them out the day after, randomly, at the Lucasfilm Pavilion. So there was just
somebody going around saying, "Want a poster?" or somebody, you guys ran up to them and grabbed them. Tackled them.
They had 3 people. One was at the front of the pavilion, and then 2 of them were walking around because they had costumes and set pieces all around the pavilion.
Sure.
So it wasn't just at the front. So they were going around to folks that were looking at the costumes and the artifacts from Mandalorian Grogu, from Ahsoka, the props and stuff. Exactly. And they were giving away these posters. And I was like, I got to get one. And so I did. But that they did the same thing for the button for Starfighter. They kind of had, were doing that. But no, I was very happy because I thought we were actually going to leave this event without getting that poster, and that would have been very sad. So we actually got it, and it's an amazing poster. Again, I already hung it up because it's that amazing, and it really gets me pumped for Ahsoka season 2. Yeah. And I can't wait to break down that trailer because that trailer is amazing, and I have so many more questions.
This is like the most I know they've leaned into more of the Japanese aesthetic and even culturally, we've seen a lot of that. That's Filoni. I mean, even you think back all the way to like Rebels, where Kanan's sitting there and he's going through some kind of a ritual before he knows he's going to die. Right? It was all very samurai-ish. But man, this poster really kind of screams like Japanese feudal Japan. I mean, they even did like the name Ahsoka in what looks like katakana, but it's really Orabesh on the right hand side of the poster. So phenomenal job, top to bottom on the poster. Absolutely loved it. But we got that. They did mention that the season 2, like you said, is coming January 20th. So sooner than I thought it would be. I thought they, after the new year, a lot of people don't release anything historically or typically, right? It's just not something they would do. But in these days of streaming and all that, who knows why? But I'm glad it's January 20th. It didn't feel like we have to wait that long, and we're able to get through Ahsoka season 2 before we get into Star Wars Celebration, which would be really good. 1 month ahead of course, the 50th anniversary. So we'll have that kind of those two things intersecting. Dawson, she went on there at one point during one of the panels. She said this season is massive. The stakes are higher, the battles are bigger, and the threat of Thrawn looms large for Ahsoka, her crew, and the entire galaxy. And I think, again, we'll get into the breakdown of the trailer frame by frame, our analysis of it here in a future episode. But I will say, I love the fact that they've got Thrawn front and center. I don't believe for any bit of me that Thrawn is in this for the Empire, because it feels like he's just taken a page out of the playbook from the books, the actual canon books, right? And that it's really all about the Chiss ascendancy. I've got some wacky theories about that now that the trailer has come out. I'll cover those when we do that breakdown. You've got Ezra coming back, of course. Man, Ezra and Zeb in that trailer when they're hugging, that got me. Like, you think about their relationship in the show. They haven't seen each other for a number of years. And, where their relationship started, where they were always trying to kill each other, right, to where it ends now, right, as adults, or maybe at least one of them's adult. I would say Zeb's probably grown up a little bit too. It was really nice. I just love that moment of it. But, you've got Ezra back, and it feels like Iman's going to have like a whole section. We focused so much on Sabine last year. My gut tells me that, yes, we're not going to bury Sabine or Ahsoka or that whole series. In fact, I don't think that's going to be the case at all, especially with Anakin coming back, right? More on that here in a second. But when you look at the trailer and you look at how Iman's talking, and Iman being Iman Svandi, right?
Svandi, yep.
Yeah, the guy that's playing in Ezra Bridger. When you look at the way he's talking, it sounds like he is going to have a substantial role to play in this. And he's been talking about way more lightsaber fights and that sort of thing. And he's been training too. You look at the BTS stuff he's been posting. He's out there using a lightsaber, and so you're thinking, okay, wait a minute. Where is he going to be using his lightsaber, right? And who's fighting that? Again, all that stuff we'll get to you. Right. But man, the fact that we've got those two, and then the cherry on top, come on, man. We're getting more flashbacks of Anakin and Ahsoka during the Clone Wars. That one looks phenomenal. I know exactly what episode that was that they were doing there. And then you've got what I think a lot of us really wanted was, yes, we want Anakin back, right? In any capacity. We've been asking that for many, many, many years. But the idea that now you have him coming back and he's going back into that mentor master role with Ahsoka, because technically she's not a Jedi and she never went through the trials. And they kind of throw this question out there at the very end where he says, are you not a Jedi? I think he says, yeah, that's the question. Are you not a Jedi? And I just want to say this, and I want your thoughts on it. I love the idea of it. Like, I'm all about it, and I know I'm going to love season 2. I mean, who's not going to love the fact that you've got Anakin Skywalker coming back and being that master for Ahsoka in this completely different era of her life? And my God, she's lived so many different eras already. But then I started thinking about it more, and I don't know how I feel. I feel like I'm a little bit conflicted about, do I want her to be a Jedi? Right? It feels like he's asking her, do you want to do this or not? And she has the right to say, no, I'll continue doing what I'm doing. but I don't know that I would like the idea of her going back to being a Jedi, like going through the trials and being deemed a Jedi at that point. And I say that for my own personal reasons only. But I also think about all the people that have gotten tattoos that say, I am no Jedi. And I thought, man, they're going to be really mad if she becomes a Jedi. But your thoughts, I guess, on the return of Anakin, Ezra Bridger. And then how do you feel about, her going through the trials and ultimately having to make a decision about being a Jedi or not? And do you think that's something that she would kind of lean into?
So back to Ezra Bridger and Iman Esfandi, who's my guy, by the way. He mentioned there he was at a panel talking about Ahsoka season 1.
Yeah.
And talk about like how he was cast and all that good stuff. But of course the question came up, okay, what can we expect to see out of Ezra in season 2? And he said lightsabers, lots of lightsabers, and lots of space battles. Yeah. And I'm like, perfect. That's Star Wars right there. So we're good to go. But he did say a couple of months ago at SpaceCon down in San Antonio, I believe that was in March. No, it was in June.
May? June.
It was, June.
Yeah.
So this summer, he said that he's going to be in every episode of season 2.
Perfect.
Yeah, so he's there, and I'm
give him in his own series. That's what I'm saying. But please go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So and then of course we'll break this down even more. But there's a scene with him using his lightsaber that raised a lot of questions for me. So we'll cover that also. As far as Anakin coming back, I think it makes sense. At the end of last season, we saw his Force ghost. So for him to be more prominent now as a Force ghost trying to mentor Ahsoka, I think that makes sense. Obviously, the flashbacks were given. We knew that was going to happen when we saw those costumes that were presented at the Lucasfilm Pavilion from Ahsoka season 2.
Yeah.
So we knew that we were going to get our flashbacks, which is perfect. The whole question about the question that he presents to Ahsoka,
are you not a Jedi?
Are you not a Jedi?
Okay.
I could go either way. I know that Ahsoka has been part of her identity is kind of being this like not really affiliated with anything. She just does her own thing. She's still strong in the Force. She works for good, but she just doesn't have.
She felt betrayed. I mean, right? I mean, that's why she left, right?
Exactly. So now I think where it's kind of like, if you want to compare it to maybe like Luke, they're like, hey, you have to do all this. Ben shows up and says, hey, you have to go to Dagobah and talk to Yoda, the Jedi Master. It's not that the question is not the same, but the question is similar. Are you going to go down that path?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what Ahsoka does. Again, I could go either way, but I ultimately think Ahsoka will make the decision that will benefit the galaxy.
Okay.
So, or that particular conflict that they're in at the time. What is going to help save the galaxy, save her friends, save her family from the menace that is Thrawn? And then, not only that, we have Baylan and Shin doing their own thing. What are they doing? And that really piqued my interest when Anakin, Force Ghost Anakin mentioned that Baylan was looking for something of great power that stops wars.
Yeah.
And to hear Anakin mention Baylan Skoll's name, I was like, that's top tier right there. They're really going into the lore there, and they're bringing their legacy characters into the new modern characters, and they're combining these stories. I think that was excellent, and I really am looking forward to all of that.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot more to talk about. Honestly, we're going to do an entire show because I still have lots and lots of thoughts and opinions about where I want this to go, and speculation, reckless speculation at that. So we'll get into that here on a future episode. Let's move in just quickly. I know we've talked about Starfighter. There's the logo right there for anybody who hasn't seen the logo. They are playing on the original 1975, I think it was, or something like that. When they had their first logo out. And what's that?
No, it was 76.
76, thank you.
76, yeah. The 1975 logo was that skinny looking Star Wars thing.
Which I think is really retro looking. I like
Absolutely.
it, but I don't know if it doesn't really. This is much better, and I like
this. Is amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing. When I saw that classic logo, that really that got to me.
Yeah.
Because that before the top on top logo Star Wars.
Yeah.
That is what I knew Star Wars as when I was a kid. So
yeah,
it really touched me there. So I'm excited for Starfighter.
Our good friends over at Blast Point Podcast. If you guys don't follow them, go follow them. They're hilarious. Really great guys. But I checked in on them because I don't know, this logo really probably sent them, they probably passed out after they saw it, quite honestly. But yeah, I like it. It's kind of a mix of the old and the new, right? You got the older logo in the background. Starfighter looks much more modern. It's 3D. They've got a 3D font. I love it. I think it's great. We'll see if that sticks and if that is the official logo, because sometimes this stuff does change over time.
Right. I hope it doesn't change.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you too. And by the way, his jacket, I've never wanted to like hurt somebody more than I do right now to take that jacket. That is amazing. And you can't see what's that?
And I know I really love the Mickey Mouse Club jacket myself.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the Star. I mean, it's cool. I don't mind the Mickey Mouse Club, but if I had my choice, the one on the right's more of my aesthetic. So, but yeah, he comes, with the ultimate flex wearing this like Starfighter jacket that nobody has access to right now. But it's totally fire as well. But so I really love the fact that they brought him out. They kind of made the big announcement. We did get not in that. I don't know if remember it was this panel or not, but we did learn that this movie will be coming out May 28th, 2027, right? So that's really not that much. That's not very far away, quite honestly, if you think about it, right?
No.
Going back to what Kathleen Kennedy had said originally, this takes place about 5 to 6 years after the events of Rise of Skywalker. I think we had, it was either Ryan Gosling or it might have been Sean Levy that was talking about how we're in a period where there really isn't like a government. Right. So it feels like, and I get it, right? The events of the Rise of Skywalker, things are a little rocky. They're kind of rebuilding. We're almost kind of reset to that time right after the fall of the Galactic Empire, where there was a rebuilding phase of things, right? A reconstruction phase. And so that does kind of open up a lot of opportunities for other nemesis to exist, people to kind of rise to power, a level of lawlessness that's starting to that may be out there in presence. So there's a lot of exciting things about that. We did learn that Ryan Gosling's character is named Cade Oberon. And I see Cade, I'm thinking, okay, Cade Skywalker.
Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. Cade Skywalker.
And I'm telling you, like, if they do that, they're going to, and we can get into that when we do the trailer breakdown, because I've got some thoughts about Cade Skywalker coming back here. But yeah, again, the trailer was only about 1 minute and like 7 seconds long. It was primarily, I forget the kid's name now. He comes in, he goes into like a garage and he pulls back a car cover, if you will, a Starfighter cover, and he unveils something called a G-17 Imperial Reaper. And Ryan Gosling's character, Cade, is very well aware what this is. It looks like it's in his shop, if you will. And so and he told him, tells the kid, hey, I didn't want you, don't go in there, don't touch anything. When he does, he comes out and mentions that it's been decommissioned and that no one has ever seen this thing before too. And so that really kind of piqued my interest. It got me thinking about a lot of conspiracy theories as to what's going on. But for the most part, like I said, it was really just to kind of show you, look, we've got new worlds. We've got Ryan Gosling. We've got a new Starfighter. We've got Ryan Gosling. We've got, new robots. We've got Ryan Gosling. But, it was great. I was fine. And like I said, we'll break that down for a Patreon exclusive and get into all the gory details. But I know you said it was kind of like a lukewarm, no pun intended, response.
No, I don't want that was the wrong term. I shouldn't have said lukewarm. It wasn't the pop wasn't as loud as it was for the Ahsoka season 2 trailer. There was a pop, but I think it was louder when Ryan Gosling joined
Sean,
joined Sean on stage. Then it got loud again when he changed into the Star Wars Starfighter jacket. But when they actually showed the footage, it there was a pop, but it just wasn't as loud as those other ones. So lukewarm wasn't the words I should have used. It was just not as loud. Yeah.
Dale says, with all the things we have leading up to Starfighter, we've not much anxiety of waiting beyond the first of a year. I think there's some wording there. But yeah. Then he says, I'm still stuck on rumors of Flynn's character's name, which, we'll get into that in the trailer breakdown too. I've seen those floating around on the rumor boards and rumor mills, but more of that coming. So I don't know. Again, your expectations need to be reset here. Again, it was just a minute. I don't, if people were going in thinking they were going to get a full size trailer and be blown away, that's probably not fair. But I think it was enough to whet the appetite. And, they've got an entire freaking weekend set aside to talk about Starfighter until you're, dead ad nauseum when we get to Celebration. So there's a lot more coming. I've just loved the fact that, we've gotten what we got, and I'm all about Sean Levy. I'm all about Ryan Gosling right now. So I'm pretty excited that we're going to get this one. So, okay, let's move on to something that I know you and I have had a lot of interest in.
Yes.
And that's Star Wars: The Experience. So for anybody that's not aware, this is the museum exhibit that's going to start touring North America. Is it next year?
Yeah, next February.
And they're going to kick things off. I think this was kind of revealed at the D23. It's in Philadelphia at the Franklin Institute.
The Franklin Institute in Philadelphia, correct.
So what was that? Did you go to the panel for this one?
I did.
Yeah. What was that like? Because I know there's a lot of interest. That key art's been popping off. Everybody's been talking about it. You can see it there in the background.
Right.
I think at one point you posted a video where they're actually talking about the merch that they're going to sell because this video, everybody loves the color and the aesthetic. It's got kind of a synth wave, vaporware kind of thing that's really hot right now. But yeah, I mean, they did kind of explain. They also went into a little bit more about what that exhibit's going to be like and some of the experiences and the immersion that you're going to have. Tell us more about what they kind of covered there.
So they talked about how this all came about, and obviously, Lucas, Star Wars, and museums have been in the news a lot this last year or so. But this is going to be completely independent of anything from George or anything like that. This is totally a collaboration between Lucasfilm and the Franklin Institute. They had representatives from both the Franklin Institute and Lucasfilm. If you guys are familiar with Matthew Martin, he used to be part of the story group.
Oh, Matt Martin. Yeah,
Matt Martin. He was there talking about, how they were working with, the Franklin Institute to have this exhibit encompass all 50 years of Star Wars in every medium you can think of. They talked about film, television, video games, video games, literature, one-offs, merchandise, toys, stuff of that nature, the entire spectrum. And that is a huge undertaking with so much history. Not only that, but they want to make it immersive. Yeah. It's not just, hey, we're going to go look at, some classic or, the Boba Fett rocket firing figure behind glass.
Yeah, some glass, right? Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, I get it. I love it. But I love this idea of doing more than that.
Right. They want to make it immersive. They talked about that, they have like actual blueprints of how the TIE fighter was going to be built. And they actually made a wireframe TIE fighter following those blueprints. That's the art that they were showing when they were explaining that. And it's actually something textile, something you could touch, you know what I mean? So they want it to be something that's three-dimensional, not just something you're looking like that's hung on a wall or behind a pane of glass. One of the immersive aspects of it was actually available there at the Lucasfilm Pavilion, and that is the freezing yourself in carbonite. Yeah. And it was kind of funny. You would step in front of this, big, I assume it's a huge iPad. It was just something really big, a screen. And then, there's a camera looking on you. And then they're like, all right, make your best carbon freeze face. And, most people were going, like that, like Han was. Course, yeah. But I just get like, I was like, oh, I'm getting frozen. Who cares? But
which, by the way, in that video that you did, I love the fact that it picked up your tattoo. Like it actually came through on the carbonite.
It came through on the carbonite like it was indented into my skin. It was really cool. Yeah. But those type of experiences are going to be available at this exhibit. So what I thought was, I don't know if you remember, back in 2001 or 2000, they had a similar tour of Star Wars props and artifacts. Yep. I think they had a stop in Texas, which was in Houston. And it was James Earl Jones narrating. And that was fun. This seems like it's going to be that, but taken to another level. Yeah. Star Wars: The Experience, again, they want to bring in every aspect of Star Wars that has been around for the last 50 years, as well as have immersive exhibits and immersive opportunities when you attend this. So it is going to be amazing. I'm like super excited for this now, to the point where I was like, hey, I'll eventually catch it. But now I actually want to try to be there day one and experience this, because this is something that I don't want to miss. So looks like I'm gonna be going to Philadelphia in February.
You got a trip to Philadelphia coming.
Yeah,
soon.
exactly. What was I gonna say? Now they did say it was touring. It's going to be touring for 5 years, and they showed a tentative map. And there were
Texas?
a couple of spots in Texas. It looked like one was Houston and one was DFW, which would make sense.
Right.
But they said it's all subject to change. So, because initially they said it was going to be throughout North America. And I was like, hey, that doesn't just mean the United States. That's Canada, that's Mexico. And there is, I think a Toronto was listed on there. Again, they didn't have names. They just had like those little pins across the map.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think Toronto was one in Canada, but again, it's touring. It's gonna be touring for 5 years. But yeah, I have to catch this day one in Philadelphia because it looks to be amazing.
Yeah. So if you heard Blanco, Texas, the opportunity you may happen. So good luck to you guys there. If you've ever been to Blanco, Texas, that's a joke. Okay, so all right, so yeah, look, I'm totally in on this, and you and I were talking about it. Maybe we get out there in February and kind of cover this because. I don't want to miss it, and I want to take a chance of it not, come in here. I imagine it's going to hit Dallas or Houston, shocker, right? And that's not a huge of a drive for us, but being there for the opening weekend and being part of that first experience, I think is something special, and I'm with you. It sounds like something we need to do. So,
absolutely.
All right. I got some Star Wars Eclipse information, maybe, not really. This is interesting. Like, this was one that caught a lot of people by surprise. So if you're not familiar with what Star Wars Eclipse is, it is a video game that's coming out. It was announced back, 2021, maybe even.
It was a minute, yes.
But this is coming from Quantum Dream. These guys have got a reputation of cranking out some really popular games, and they've just been in development hell for a number of years, for lack of a better term. In 2024, their lead writer, Adam Williams, he left the project. Everybody was like, well, that's it. This thing's not going to happen now. There's no way. And then they lost the founder of Quantum Dream, which was David Cage, and probably a good thing. That guy was under fire for a lot of his business practices and some personnel HR issues that he was going through allegedly. And I don't know what the disposition of that is, but if any of that was remotely true, he probably did need to go. But nonetheless, you think about this, just a year ago, this thing I felt was like dead, gone. It's never going to resurrect itself. And what we got was, they had it there at the Lucasfilm Pavilion at D23, and they were running the trailer the entire time. And I'll run the trailer while we're kind of talking here. But for anybody that doesn't know, the idea is, what got a lot of people excited about this trailer when it launched was the fact that this is taking place during the High Republic era, right? So that's a big deal. First and foremost. A lot of the footage we got here was just kind of cinematic. This is the cinematic trailer. Can you guys hear the audio on this, by the way?
I cannot.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully, because it's so loud in my ears right now. A lot of it was cinematic, right? So it wasn't actual in-game footage, but it got a lot of people really excited that this game was going to be coming out. Again, fast forward to 2025. It feels like everybody's left. And then here we go, D23, it pops up and it's showing at the Lucasfilm Pavilion. Now, we didn't get any new footage. I actually put both of the trailers, like the one that was shown there was somebody that recorded the whole thing at D23. When you put it up against this trailer that's online, there really hasn't been anything that's changed. And so it kind of got me thinking, is this thing really dead? Was this more of a promotion of like, hey, don't forget about us. We need more developers and we need more money to get this thing out because we've got something that's really hot and a lot of people have been talking about it. I really don't know. There was no kind of like panel. There weren't, as far as I understood. I know you were there. I don't even know if you saw this, but there wasn't like people handing out pamphlets or, hey, can I answer any questions you have about Star Wars Eclipse? It was literally just out there almost as like an advertisement, either for the game or again, to get more people involved on the creative side or the financial side of things. But
so go
ahead.
I didn't watch. Of course, I've seen this trailer lots of times. I didn't pay attention to it. Now, I saw it out of the corner of my eye and I was like, hey, that's Star Wars Eclipse.
Right. What's it doing
I was like,
here?
What is it doing here? Which we can safely say if they're showing this, that because they didn't show footage of stuff that is like not like they didn't show Star Wars Detours, right?
Right.
That's never going to see the light of day on Disney Plus at all. So they didn't show that. But they did show this.
Yeah.
So if you're excited for this game, I think maybe you can get a little bit excited again, because this means that this is being worked on. And then I heard this. I guess he is a preteen. Asked one of the Lucasfilm people that were at the pavilion, said, "Hey, what is this?" Because they didn't know, and they're like, "Oh, it's a video game we're working on." So
right.
This is something to take with a grain of salt. But if you were really looking forward to this game, I don't think I think you can get your hopes up just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it says, it's a new action, adventure, multiple character branching narrative set during the High Republic of the iconic Star Wars galaxy, now in early development. So we'll see. Yoda's in the trailer, right?
Mhm.
So like, it's like, holy crap! Like, there's some big stuff that's going on here, right? Potentially you've got a Wookiee there, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's a fur coat. We did break this trailer down when it was announced like 4 years ago on the show, and I don't even know. We might have done it for Patreon, but maybe if I find it, I'll repost the link so anybody can go back and watch the coverage on it. But I was excited at the time. Wasn't so hot about the people that were behind it, and again, some of the practices. I know One Up versus CPU just chimed in and said they got a reputation. All right, I don't know if he's talking about the game reputation or the business reputation. But nonetheless, it is something that a lot of people have been very excited about and have been conflicted because of that reason. And now that, potentially could be under new management. And now you've got Dave Filoni at the helm, who is over everything, even the third party stuff. He may have some say and sway into how this turns out. I don't know. It sounds like it could be back on the menu. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe at Celebration we'll get something more. But don't count on it, right? Because this thing has been just buried for a number of years now. Okay. Just quickly, some of the other fun things that happened. We got the announcement of Lego Star Wars: The Mandalorian. This is a Lego. I think it's not a series. It's probably like a movie, an hour and a half, just kind of recapping the first 3 seasons. In the way that Lego can, right? When you watch the trailer, it's actually. I was laughing. There's some pretty good moments in here. It kind of really calls to a lot of the great moments that we had. Some of the more dramatic moments, they've changed them around and made them funny. I particularly loved the very end of this trailer when Luke shows up and, he's trying to tell like, I'm Luke Skywalker. And they're like, we don't know who you are. It's like Bo-Katan and Mando. They're like, we don't know who you are, dude, because you've been gone. So we have no clue. But so this is coming September 2nd, not much longer. It'll be here in just a few weeks. They said they did an early screening of this. Did you get a chance to see this, or was that behind closed doors?
I did not get a chance to see this. No, I didn't even know it was happening. I mean, I knew of this project, but I didn't know that they were having a screening. A lot of stuff just gets it. Like, they didn't announce that they were dropping the Ahsoka 2 season 2 posters. They just did it.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of stuff like this, they just kind of do, and they'll come around the pavilion and be like, "Hey, go to the Hyperion stage if you want to see." A sneak peek or if you want to see, this early. And I think that's what they did. And I wasn't around the pavilion at that time, so I missed out on it. But
yeah,
that's the life of going to a huge convention like that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. For me, Lego never misses. There's always something you get from one of the Lego movies. And they've done so many for Star Wars, whether it's holiday specials or things like this that, if you're a fan of The Mandalorian and you've liked all the Lego stuff, even if you don't, if this is your first one, I bet you're probably going to have a good time with this. And there's the scene right now where they're like, we don't know who you are, dude. So yeah, this is coming September 2nd. Now here's something that I know you posted something on. This is the Batu Buddies, which sounds like a bathroom buddy for me from like the Gremlins movie, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
But the Batu Buddies. Okay. I know you've got a lot to say. I'll tee you up here, but they look cute. But I'm still not sold on the creepy blue eyes. Like, it's like way too blue. It's almost like Frank Sinatra blue. I'm kidding. No, but it's a little weird. But you got a chance to like play with these things firsthand. I know they had the price on there, like $99 exclusive to, I assume, the parks.
Exclusive to Batu as Galaxy's Edge. Yeah.
Okay. So what did you think about it as someone who actually got to play with them and see them and all that? Is this going to be something that people should be shelling $99 out for?
So here's what I think of this. I think they're just too damn cute. Now I didn't get to touch the Grogu Rada, and R2. I
Okay.
did get to play around with the Ewok, and man, that thing felt like a real pet. It felt I don't know.
It felt like you were holding Warwick Davis.
Exactly, or Gizmo, or something like that. And you would kind of like what the fully animatronic Grogu that's going to be coming out next April from Hasbro, where it's like you had like hand gestures, you could pet it in certain places, and it will react. It did that. The noises were just so cute. The eye movement was so cute. I was like, oh my god, I don't need this, but I need
Gotta have
this.
it. Yeah.
I ended up not, and then the last day of D23, I was able to scoot over into Disneyland to ride a couple of the rides at Galaxy's Edge. I was like, look, I already bought so much stuff, and I'm sure this will be at the parks for a good while, especially since we're still waiting for the R2 Grogu and Rada version of this, because right now only the Ewok version of Batu Buddies is available. And here's the thing: there's, like with anything that comes out of Galaxy's Edge, even with the new timeline that's at Galaxy's Edge over at Disneyland, there's lore behind it.
Yeah. Which I thought was cool. Like, I didn't, but you explained this. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially what with the lore behind these things is they're toys, and they're essentially like droids, responsive droids that were built by the Anzellans as toys. So that's why they have those blue eyes, because they're technically little monitors for eyes, because they're essentially robots or droids. So that's the lore behind them. That's why they have the eyes, and that's why I got that answer when I asked the cast member that was in the marketplace that was showing this off. I said, "Is there any way we can change the color of the eyes?" Because that's been like the biggest question that people out there have asked me to ask. He goes, no, but here is why. And they told me the lore behind it. So that's the reason. But they're cute. They're cute as heck.
They look cute.
They're cute, and the noises they make are just adorable. They have you can purchase accessories for them.
Oh, so it's like Build-A-Bear Workshop all over again.
But they're interactive. So like if you buy there's like Mandalorian armor that you can buy for Grogu. You put that on him, and he reacts to what you're doing and reacts to those pieces that you put on him.
Okay,
like
cool.
The Ewok has like a spear and like some other stuff, like a horn. If you put the horn in its hand and you put the hand by its mouth, it'll like make noise like it's playing the horn. There's food, you feed it, it makes noise like it's eating. If you put the spear on there, you remember like the noises that the Ewoks make in Return of the Jedi when they're attacking. They're like, and you start hearing those noises. So it's those props that you can purchase separately are interactive with the actual Batu Buddy. So that's what makes it real cool as well.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I like that idea. Were they heavy? No,
they were not heavy at all.
Okay.
They were very light. I thought when she's like, yeah, you can pick that one up, I thought it was like maybe like a retail demo one with nothing inside it. But no, it fully worked. And, I was able to test with the horn, and I was able to test with food, and it did everything it was supposed to do. And they're not heavy at all. So it's a really cool toy.
Yeah, like right there, that's like super blue. That's like nightmare fuel for me right there.
That's just the good angle of the camera right there. Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, and that looks even worse. But no, like this one, like Rada doesn't look so bad.
Yeah.
Stinky.
No. Yeah. Stinky looks cute. I like that one.
Okay, there's a funky
I haven't
one.
seen the R2 one. So is it just the blue eye that he's got? Like
he just has like the one lens lights up, and that's it.
Okay.
Oh, the red light that's on the front of his, I guess, dome lights up too.
Yeah.
But out of all of them, R2 was the most limited as to what they were showing us. Okay. That we got to see some stuff from, not as much as the Ewok, but we got to see some interaction from Grogu, some interaction from Rada, but really nothing for R2.
Yeah, when I was looking at people that were posting their footage of them at this area, it seemed like everybody was holding the Ewok. Or
that's the only one they would let you touch.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
The other ones, the other ones, they wouldn't let us touch, but they would let us touch the Ewok.
Okay, all right. I don't know. It's cool. I mean, they're going to sell. I mean, I mean, I've seen people already just committing their lives to this and sacrificing small goats or whatever they need to do to get money to buy these things. And so, make no mistake about it, it's going to sell. I love the fact that the accessories are more interactive and they've got chips in there that kind of play off of each other. It's that's kind of a neat twist. We'll have to see. Did they have any pricing on like what those sets cost? $20-$30?
I don't recall how much. They're available now for the Ewok, but I don't recall how much they were. Okay. Everyone was just focusing on the actual doll itself.
Yeah. And these are available now? Is that what they said?
They're available now.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The Ewok is available now at both Galaxy's Edge locations at Hollywood Studios and Disneyland. The other three, Grogu, Rada, and R2, are going to be released later at a to be determined date.
Got it. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's talk now about we've got really quickly. You spent some time here.
Yes.
This is the Anzellan and Hugo's Sweets and Fizz. I saw a video of this, of course, your video, and I saw a number of other ones as well. But this was really funny. I love the fact that they put this out there and allowed people to just kind of interact with it.
Yeah, no, it was real cool to see. They had several different scenes of essentially, the soda bombs that you get from Galaxy's Edge, of Coca-Cola, Sprite, Dasani water, or anything like. They just had like little. They're like little tray droids. That's the best thing I could call them. And you saw them go back to get loaded up with whatever drink they were supposed to serve. But then as they come out, Grogu interacts with them in certain ways. And the best one is when a water bottle comes out with one of the tray droids. One of the things you see Grogu's put his hands up, close his eyes, squint, and then starts to use the Force, and it shakes the whole thing.
Oh, nice!
And everything starts to flicker, like all the lights start to flicker. I thought that was cute. Then there's the other one that was just too cute, almost melted. Is where the droids come out, all three of them. They all have a drink on them, and they kind of start to dance. And then Grogu starts to dance with them and sing with them. And I was like, oh man, I should just die here. That's just too cute. So I really enjoyed this. A lot of folks were saying that, hey, this is coming to like Docking Bay 94 or 97. I forgot what the number is. The restaurant that's at Galaxy's Edge, Ronto Roasters. No, I don't think this is coming there. I think this was purely a demonstration of what the Imagineers could do for attractions.
Okay. So it's more of like a tech demo than
correct.
Hey,
I don't think this is something.
Parks.
Yeah, I don't think this is. You're not going to have one of those little tray droids serve you food. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But this is just showing that hey, there could be an attraction where we see something like that. And this is the technology that they have now to apply it. So, I don't think this is going to replace anything. Keep in mind, Docking Bay 97, 94, I don't remember what it is. It's not even there's no wait staff there. You go, you order your food, you sit down like a fast food restaurant. Self-service, exactly. So anyway, but this was really cool to see. They have Hugo there with one of his arms stirring something, but he's asleep. And then that's when Grogu gets into his shenanigans with the tray droids and the drinks and whatnot. So it was pretty cool to see.
That's cool. Let's see. What else we got? We just a couple more things here. I wanted to touch on this just briefly. Someone had asked, I forget, was it Variety? I forget who. Somebody from, it was Variety magazine.
It was Variety who asked, yes.
Yeah, whether or not the Hunt for Ben Solo, I should say, is in production. And I guess his key takeaway was, he says, he was surprised that it took this long. He's like, I was expecting someone to actually ask that question. And he says, we're not making that picture right now. He says, that's all I can say. And then, Dave Filoni is known for saying that's all I can say, even if it means it's not going to happen. Right. He just doesn't give you anything most of the times. In fact, I think it was during the Maul Shadow Lord panel. Matt was up there on stage and Filoni came out and says, literally, I'm watching to make sure you don't say anything you're not supposed to say. Right?
Exactly.
So he's so poker face about this stuff. And has been.
He has one face and that's it. I mean, Dave Filoni, he must be a great, he has to play poker. He has to, because he has an amazing poker face of, now when he was younger, like I was at the presentation or the panel at Celebration 2007, which was also in Los Angeles, where they debuted the first footage of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And he wanted to tell us everything.
About it.
But there was another Lucasfilm representative there that's like, no, Dave, you can't say that. No, Dave, you can't say that.
Right.
Now, a lot of people thought that it was all stage, but no, at the end, he's like, no, I want to tell these people this stuff. And you're over here telling me that I can't,
Yeah.
And so, but that's when he was just like the director of Clone Wars. He wasn't, like where he is now. But now he has an amazing poker face. He just smiles all the time. And as far as this particular project, I really, really, really have a lot of respect and admiration for the campaign that's behind Where's Ben Solo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that needs to go the way of make Solo 2 happen. Solo, a Star Wars story, a sequel to that movie. They need to be put to sleep because we're not getting those projects.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say. The hunt for Ben Solo was really interested me. And I thought that could have been an amazing story, lead into the Kinberg trilogy, if it is the sequels. But I think we're never going to see that. So just use your head canon, make it up as you go, both for, a Solo Star Wars story sequel, as well as the hunt for Ben Solo. We're not going to get those.
Okay. Yeah. I never will give up hope on anything, because Leia taught me that. But what I will say though, is it feels like a little bit dimmer now, especially since they just announced Adam Driver as, Mr. Sinister coming out. Right. So he's going to be tied up in a pretty big franchise over the next few years. So to get him now, that's not to say, if you think about like Harrison Ford and where he was in the early 80s, he was doing multiple projects. He was doing Raiders and he was doing Star Wars and a number of other things. So that's not to say that they're completely locked up, but it is a different time these days, so many years later. And so, maybe he has it, maybe he still can do it. I think you're right. I think there's a story there. I've read the synopsis and of course, and what they want to do. It sounds like really intriguing to me, especially as a Ben Solo fan. But yeah, this was just fun to talk about, and the fact that they asked him about it, he did that. I will say his Deadline response seemed a little bit more finite and maybe like, yeah, this isn't going to happen. He says, when Deadline asked the same question, he said, "It's not here. You won't find it here. The Force is not with us in that regard. I love the love you feel for it." So that feels like, you could take that in a couple different ways as, okay, it's never going to happen. The people that were more optimistic and hopeful took that as, okay, they're not going to talk about it here, but they could talk about it at, Celebration in next year or whatever. So don't lose faith. Don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say all of this and then they're going to announce, hey, the next project.
Yeah, it's going to be the case.
Episode 10, The Hunt for Ben Solo. Oh.
Yeah. Never know, man. You never
know. Hey,
never.
we got, so here's the thing is like, we got Ezra back.
Yeah.
I know when we saw the end of Rebels, I thought he was gone. I thought him and Thrawn were gone. I didn't subscribe to the fact that he survived somehow. I'm like, shoot, you're going to kill off Kanan. You can kill off Thrawn and Ezra. He's back. Thrawn is back. They brought Darth Maul back. So
Remember, in Star Wars, unless there's a body, there's a chance of them coming back.
Unless there's a body that is either is destroyed or disappears into nothingness, they're not dead. And even then, they're not dead.
And even then, they could be
even then, they're not dead. So I really, really question what was the real reason they 86 this. Because remember, Kathleen Kennedy said that she was all for it.
Yeah.
But Bob Iger.
Yeah, it was the Disney execs that said.
Yeah, the Disney execs said no, because we don't know. We don't see how Ben Solo is alive. And I was like, they don't know ball.
Star Wars.
They don't know Star Wars. Right. They shouldn't have been the ones to come back with that response. But anyways, yeah. Long and short, I don't think we're going to see it.
All right. Well, I've got two more things, and we don't really have anything to kind of show for these. I just wanted your thoughts. I know you got a chance to see the season 2 panel for it was mostly season 1.
Yeah.
Maul's Shadow Lord, but there was some discussion, and we've got season 2 greenlit. They talked a lot about the passion of Sam Witwer. Some of this was carryover from, Rebel Scum Con, where there was a panel there talking about it. But how was that? Was it pretty packed? What was the response like? And then, of course, we had Dave Filoni crash the party there for about a minute or two.
It was packed. Everyone, the temperature for Maul Shadow Lord has not lowered.
Died down. Yeah, no, I agree.
People love that show, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. I love that show. So to hear him as the head writer for this thing come out and talk about his history, talk about how he started writing for video games.
Yeah.
And he started writing. He said he started writing when he was playing with action figures when he was a kid. So he has a love for writing. He went to school and all that good stuff. But yeah, he actually started working on like Star Wars 1313. And of course, that got canned. And now, he wrote for Clone Wars.
Yeah. Him and Dave were on the writing staff there for a while.
Exactly. Now he's here, he did Maul, and man, Maul was amazing. The dialogue for that show was spot on. And even when there was no dialogue, all of that made perfect sense. It was very George Lucas-y with some better dialogue, in my opinion. But the big announcement out of that was that we are going to get season 2 of Maul Shadow Lord next year. No exact date,
right?
Just the
year. But it's
year.
not 2028, which is great because I love this. I love this idea.
Yeah, no, 2027. That was made clear. Next year, 2027, we'll get season 2, which means they're already working on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm excited because there is a lot left hanging from the end of season 1, and he said, don't put too much in this, but of course I do. They gave us a poster, and this is like the most.
Do you have the poster with you by the chance right now?
It's in the other room. I have to go grab it.
Go grab it. No, I'm kidding. Keep going.
I'll go grab it.
You can go grab it. If it doesn't take too long, I can fill in real quick. So Chris is going to go grab the poster. You have to see this poster. He posted it on Instagram. I don't want to steal his thunder, but I can tell you right now, he only got like one poster of it. And it is hot as heck, you know what? So, the idea that we're getting season 2 and where Maul Shadow Lord season 1 left off with this character is really intriguing. Like, it got a lot of people talking, like you said. There was a lot of buzz after this panel simply because of the poster alone. And I'm sure he's going to frame it at some point, put it in the back there, do the ultimate flex. Okay, he's come back now. He's got the poster, and let's let him get his headphones on here. And then he'll do the big reveal. And I swear, he says he's only got one. Maybe he's got 2. We'll say now he can hear me, so I'm going to stop. Okay. All right. Pull it up. Let's see it. What you got? This is the poster. It was given away exclusively at that panel. Might need to pull back there. Yeah, there you go. So it's Darth Vader on a Darth Maul poster, a Maul Shadow Lord poster, which, okay, so in your opinion, this is what I was kind of talking about when you left. I mean, the poster's fire is all get out, right? But do you think that Vader were they signaling that Vader's going to have a prominent role in season 2?
I think so.
Yeah. That's
what I was going to say before I went to get the poster. I do think Vader's going to play a prominent role. We may see him speak. I honestly think Vader, because, Vader doesn't like to lose. We've seen what happens when he loses, right?
Yeah.
He kills other people,
things around him.
Crushes things around. I think he's going to have a prominent role. I think he's going to be the one leading the charge to find Maul. And if they can handle Vader like they handled him in season 1, where Maul is still the central character, but Vader still has his moment to shine, it's going to be amazing. And I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like the hunter becomes the hunted kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And man, like getting hunted by Vader, and it does feel like it'd be more personal, right? Because he's got to know the history. All right. He's got to know that Maul was Palpatine's former apprentice, and he's still out there. And so for that alone, right, on principle, he probably has a bone to pick to make sure that he dies. Now, spoiler alert, he doesn't. We know he's going to live, but that is very intriguing to think about Maul being on the run now from the ultimate badass of the galaxy, which is Vader during this time. So it sounds very exciting, very intriguing. And you've got all the other cast of characters and all the other complexities that are going on there. I mean, kudos to them. That's going to be huge if they can, get him to come back and stay part of the series without necessarily fully upstaging Darth Maul, which is the only concern that I would really have with the series.
Yeah, that would be mine too. But also, it's like from a Maul perspective, I know he wants payback. When he took on Darth Vader, he was tired.
Yeah.
He was beaten. His legs were damaged. So I'm sure he wants an opportunity to square up to Darth Vader, fully healed, legs operating like they should, lightsaber in hand, and go mano a mano with the Dark Lord of the Sith, current Dark Lord of the Sith. Yep.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, and I'm sure again, since it's already in production and we know it's coming out next year, this is a guarantee. I think we're gonna get something pretty substantial come Celebration next year.
I think so. Yeah, I think look for it late next year.
All right, and finally, no Star Wars event would go without merchandise. And I know you've already talked about some things there, but what were some of the other things that you saw available for purchasing? And did you spend them, and how much did you spend?
So I won't say how much I spent.
Okay, good.
If you want to look at you want to look at the prices, feel free. You can find the prices online.
Yeah.
But so there were merchandisers all over the place that all had something of Star Wars. There were jewelry people,
artists,
box lunch. Actually, there were no artists there.
Oh, they didn't do arts.
No, they don't do Artist Alley in
oh, really?
At D23.
I saw artists there, and I thought, oh, okay, they must be selling their wares, but I guess
no. They're there to talk about something. Like if you're talking about like Artist Alley, like you would see at like San Diego Comic-Con or Celebration, they don't have that there. Yeah, okay. No. But there the other licensees are there. Hasbro and all of them, so they all have stuff that you can get.
Yeah,
but there was merchandise that was exclusive to D23, and really it boiled down to 4 products or 4 pieces.
Yep.
One was the Darth Sidious Encounter lightsaber set, which had the lightsabers of the 4 Jedi that confronted Sidious in his office, or I should say Chancellor Palpatine in his office, which was Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, Agent Kolar, and Sese-Teen. And it's one of those boxes. It's like, D23 has done this a couple times. Like they did it with Obi-Wan sabers. They did it with the Luke and Leia sabers 6 years ago. But you open the box and it starts to play music, and then you hear that whole scene of in the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, that whole thing. And then as the lightsabers,
does he say I am the Senate?
He does say that.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then what happens is the Jedi start igniting their sabers, and above on the hilt, or I say above the emitter of the sabers on the box, LED lights light up for each the color of the Jedi's lightsabers.
So just like in the same order that you see in
exactly
that scene.
in the movie in that scene.
Right.
Then he's like, it's treason then, and then the whole box lights up red.
Yeah.
And that's then cool. You hear the scream, and it kind of ends there. So that's cool. I actually did purchase that. I was like, yeah,
you need to film that. Like, I don't know if you've done it yet, but
I will.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
But the one thing I was telling Albert before the show was that I couldn't fit that in my suitcase. So I'm having it shipped back to me. The other big piece of merchandise for Star Wars that was exclusive to D23 was the Polar Mouse Droid. Now, that's the snow mouse droid you saw at the beginning of The Mandalorian and Grogu, the one that Grogu takes apart.
Right.
That box for that thing. Now it's about the size of a big remote control truck, but the box for that thing was huge. It was like,
I saw that.
It was huge. So I didn't have an interest in that, thankfully, because that would have been a pretty penny to ship back home.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The other thing they had was a exclusive R7 astromech droid with the Sorcerer Mickey hat on top. It was just a Hasbro action figure. So I actually picked up one of those.
Okay.
And then probably second only to the lightsabers, they had a Fuzzball like doll. And if you're not familiar with Fuzzball, he originated in Captain EO. He's that little red, like fluffy with the long tail, like flying opossum that you see with the red,
had him in
red and orange.
Skeleton Crew.
He was in Skeleton Crew. Yes, he came back in Skeleton Crew. That's why he's here as Star Wars merch.
Got it. Yeah.
And that, surprisingly, that doll of Fuzzball was the only merch to sell out the D23 marketplace during the convention. Yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, what was the price point on that? Was it just like a low price point?
That was $49.99.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure it looked exactly like the one from the Captain Neo thing, and then of course from Skeleton Crew. So
right, yeah. I'm sorry, it was $54.99.
Yeah.
Sold
out, huh?
Sold out. Now they had Saber sets left, they had mouse droids, and they had the figure left, but that sold out on day 2.
Wow.
But I was able to pick one up because I bought one on day 1.
Cool. All right. Well, once all that comes in, yeah, we're gonna need you to post videos and
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll dox your address so we can go find them. Yeah, get them off of you, take them from you. No, just kidding. But yeah, no, that's great, man. So yeah, I mean, overall, I guess to kind of put a cap on this thing, I felt like, again, there was a lot of great stuff. It was really, I mean, thank you for, I want to say this before we end the show. Thank you so much for all the work that you did. If you watch the energy level in your videos, you start here, and then like by the end, you were kind of down here because you were like,
oh man, it was tired. I was tired,
but you were posting and going to everything. And so just thank you for covering all of that on behalf of the show. And, the number of interactions that we got on our social media account is like infinitely higher than it's ever been because of that. But there were a lot of people, like a lot of, well-known folks in the industry that were liking these videos and, reposting and all of that. So you had some really good content that you were able to capture. So again, thank you so much for doing that.
Oh, no problem. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I started to fade. That's what happens when you don't drink enough water, don't eat enough food.
Right.
And you're just go. Cause like any big convention like that, you're walking all the time. You're standing all the time. You're in lines all the time. And if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to eventually fade. And that's kind of what happened to me. But I'd probably do it all again the same way, just to make sure that I could catch all of the content and, make it to like the lines to get merch and stuff that I wanted. So, but overall, I had a great time. I really enjoyed this D23. Like I said, I only had been once before, and I had a great time then. Had a great time this time. And I'm looking forward to 2028 when they have the next D23.
Yeah, it should be a lot more fun, especially since it'll be, is it every year?
It's every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
We'll be on and off the 51st anniversary.
First anniversary, right. But hopefully we'll have a new trilogy or something coming along the way, and there'll be something big there. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to one of my great friends, and a shout out and congratulations, DJ Elliott. If you guys know Celebration, if you know conventions, he runs Elite Beats out of Orlando and the show before the show.
He is the DJ. He is the Star Wars DJ.
He is the Star Wars DJ. He's also from the Central Texas area as well, so give him props for that.
Nice.
But I want to give him shout outs and congratulations. He was able to do the pre-show for one of the big panels at the Honda Center. It was the experiences panel, aka the parks panel, where they announce what's coming to the Disney parks. He was able to do the pre-show for that. That's been on his wish list. That's been his goal for the longest time. And he was granted that opportunity to do that, and he absolutely killed it. I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for him. So, Elliot, my guy, you did it. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. I love you, and we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I saw some of the videos, and he just looks like he's
on cloud
as
nine,
always,
man.
having the time of his life, but just on a total high the entire time he was doing that. So
yes, absolutely.
Good on him. Good people too.
Yes, he's good. He's a good dude. He's one of my better friends. He's a good dude.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll kind of end the show there on that note. Again, thanks, Chris, for everything that you did, all the coverage that you did, and thank you all for supporting the show and for all the likes and following us and doing all the stuff over this past weekend. It's been very, very busy, and now the real work happens because now we've got a lot of things we still need to cover. So on that note, don't forget that we are going to be covering the Ahsoka trailer. We'll break that down frame by frame, literally almost. For Patreon members this weekend, we're going to bring you guys the Starfighter trailer breakdown, give you our thoughts and opinions, our analysis of what we saw, even though it was only 1 minute and 7 seconds. I feel like there's a lot there that we can talk about and recklessly speculate. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And then we've got comics and a number of other things that have been put on the back burner because of all these conventions. Thankfully, we don't really have a lot going on here. I think Dallas Expo is the next one. I don't think either of us is going to that. So, hey, before we go, do you have a list of some shout outs for everybody that joined us in the live stream and made their presence known?
Yeah, for everyone that joined us on the live stream and left a comment, thank you so much. We're talking to Alex, David Padilla 4809, Paisley, One Up versus CPU, Music Train 1, Dale E. Skywalker, and Fanimator 101. Thank you so much for interacting with us and sticking with us through this recap of D23 2026.
Yep. Paisley said, thanks, Chris, for all your hard work. We really appreciate you.
No, I appreciate it. I love this gig. I really do. I really enjoy interacting with everyone who watches and listens to the podcast. I really enjoy going out there and grabbing this content for you guys. We also have some other content coming out of Rebel Scum Con, which was the weekend before. We have 2 interviews coming out, so look for those to come out soon. But yes, I really dig this, and whenever we have an event like this, whether it's a premiere or a con or anything, if we're able to attend, definitely we'll bring you the content. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and stay tuned for more.
Yeah. Okay. We'll leave it there. Again, thanks everybody for joining us in the live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. We'll try to answer those questions if you got anything. But on behalf of myself and Chris, we will see you guys here on the next episode. And for Patreon members, that'll be this weekend. So we'll see you all then.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.